All right, so we're live here at Obsidian Entertainment Studios here, and my name is Danny Pena, and today we have
Brandon Adler, game director on the Outer Worlds 2.
Brandon. We haven't done an interview before.
We have
This is the first
not.
time. Awesome. I know you talked to Paris.
I have talked to Paris before, yeah, no, but
Yeah,
this is the
yeah.
first time.
Awesome. So, tell us a little bit what's new with the Outer Worlds 2.
All right, well, with the Outer Worlds 2, we, even before the game shipped, we kind of knew some things we wanted to target in the sequel. One of those things was just bigger worlds. That was kind of the thing that a lot of players really hit us up about. They were like, hey, I just want more. I want more to explore. I want that exploration to feel a little bit stronger. So we did that. We added much larger areas, a lot more stuff to actually go interact with inside of the world. Big impactful choices. We knew that we wanted to also hit that as well. So we spent a lot of time figuring out how to make your choices feel more important when you're doing all that. And also, things like RPG player build stuff. We spent a lot of time and effort kind of, revamping, our perk system, revamping our flaw system. We've got a lot of new equipment, armors, weapons, science gear, stuff like that. Yeah, that's really kind of where we put a lot of that effort.
So I played the prologue. I think it was like a month or two ago.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Loved it. Loved the way how it plays and everything compared to the first one. But and I noticed that it's more challenging now too. So when it comes to that, because I love the first one. I played it
Yeah.
multiple times, finished it 4 times actually. And is how far is it from the first game to this? Like, is it around the same timeline or years later?
We don't get into too much of the timeline stuff.
Yeah.
I will say it does take place after the first game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit complicated, but essentially after the first game.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just want to ask that. I know
Pretty
this was
closely after. It's not too far after. It's, like a decade after kind of thing.
same ship.
It's not the same ship.
It's not
You
okay.
have
So I
you
thought
have
the
a
whole
different
time was
ship.
okay because
No. This one, the ship you get this time is actually you're part of the Earth Directorate, so it's an Earth Directorate ship that you're bringing over.
Okay, awesome. So why do you guys? Because I noticed that, like I said, it's more challenging than the first one. And I felt like the first one was a little bit too easy, and I didn't
Yeah.
play the hardest difficulty.
hmm
So, how difficult is this one compared to the first one?
I mean, if you just play the normal difficulty, we did want to make the lethality of the characters a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more of a challenge on that. But, honestly, if you're able to get through the first one, you're not going to have a problem getting through normal difficulty on this one. And also, even if you wanted to, there's even story mode where you can just kind of drop it down a little bit more if you wanted to. That said, like,
Mm-hmm.
if you start going to the higher difficulties, like, those get really, really tough. And those are for people that, they really want to challenge or they played through a few times.
And what about game mechanics? Like how different it is than the previous game too?
I mean, we kind of touched everything top to bottom. One of the things that we did before we started the game was really did like a full breakdown of every game mechanic and said, hey, do we want to keep this? Do we want to change this? How do we want to mess with this? I mentioned like the flaw system. So we like basically redid that top to bottom. Where now flaws have a lot more to do with playing into whatever play style you're doing. And so we kind of notice, hey, something we've talked about a few different times is overprepared, where if you reload your gun before it gets to an empty clip and you do that a bunch of times, we notice that. And so we kind of give you the flaw, like overprepared if you want to take it. And if you do take that, you can get like a bigger magazine size, but then you also kind of get the negative aspect where if you ever let it completely run out, you'll get a debuff for like 10 seconds. So it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, we can kind of play into your play style, right? So we try to do that with all of our different systems. Again, top to bottom. We redid combat, in particular. We spent a lot of time really making sure that the gunplay just felt a lot better, like the moment to moment, just shooting of things and moving around the world. We have like double jump and slide and all of that to just, again, really make it feel like the player has a lot of freedom in the places they're able to go inside of the open world, and the places they're able to just, kind of get around. And then there's obviously the RPG stuff we've been talking about. Like we spent a lot of time and effort making sure that whatever player build you selected and whatever choices you've been making inside the game, those things show in the world itself. And so you get a lot of interactions with things in the world that really rely heavily on like, well, how did I build my character? What skills do I have? What perks do I have? Even flaws sometimes, backgrounds, those things feature into however you're interacting with various things.
I love, we're going to wrap it up very soon, but I love that playing the prologue alone, I noticed the difference where the choices I make of like where I want to go in the game. And there was one area a little bit more easier, and the other one was like, okay, this is a little bit more challenging. And I love and I played it multiple times because I just wanted to test it out, and I discovered more things because of the different choices that I made. So that's something that I really like that you guys made those changes. Like the first one, I felt like it was more about the story and the relationship with the companions,
Hmm.
and but with this one, even the levels and the area change. It changes a lot with the experience of like the choices you make now.
Yeah, something that was important to early on was we don't want to have just like one way of solving any problem. We
Hmm.
just wanted to give players like, look, how do you want to play the game? What's your story? How do you want to take care of this? And
Hmm.
then we give them the options inside of the levels to go do that. So every player is going to have a different way of approaching any of these problems, any of these quests, any of these points of interest that they're going to. They're all going to like kind of maybe approach it in a different way or use different skills or talk to different people. And this really was important to us that we have that.
What are the lessons learned that you guys learned from the first game while working on this one?
I would say that like, the biggest thing for me is that players want deeper RPGs. I think a lot of time there's the thought just being in this industry for so long, being in RPGs for so long, it seems like in many cases we've tried to like smooth down the rough edges and like streamline things a little bit. And that's fine for some games, but also players just really want to be able to get in there. They want to just be able to like get the crunchy numbers stuff, but also just make all the different types of builds they can. They want all of the RPG options that a lot of times we've been kind of like just again just kind of slowly removing or streamlining and slimming it down. So I think again the big lesson from the first game to the second is let's give the players those options. Let's give them that stuff to interact with, and I think that they'll be appreciative of that.
And there's more humor,
Yeah, of
way
course.
more.
Yeah, well, see, it was cool, right? Because in the first one we had that corporate humor, but this one we wanted to expand that. So we still have that corporate humor. You still have Auntie's Choice, which is like a combination of two of the corporations from the first game.
Hmm.
But we also added in two other major factions to deal with the Protectorate, which is like an authoritarian regime, which doesn't sound funny, but it's kind of like looking into um more of the bureaucracy and like how to deal with that and what's funny about that. And then you have like the religious order as well, one that's like, it's science and math is important to them. And so they're very precise. And so we start leaning into the humor of that and how kind of ridiculous that can get as well.
Yeah. So one thing that I noticed while playing this game, I was trying to rush,
Okay.
right? Trying
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
rush, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that conversation I have with people, it doesn't open up. Like they might say, no, I don't want to talk to you based because I didn't, increase my speech or.
Sure. Yeah.
So any tips on that? There's probably going to be people that are just going to rush compared to like the first game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot more difficult now going through different areas because of that too. You can't rush in this one at all.
Yeah, I would say that like, if you kind of know everywhere you're going and all the stuff, you might be able to just go straight through the game, beeline it and just do critical paths. But I think most people they're going to want to just kind of really explore everything. That's where you can kind of gear up, make sure
Hmm.
you level up and actually put some of those skills, you skill up into things like, well, depending on whatever you're doing, maybe it's guns, maybe it's speech, like you're saying. But even there's it's funny you kind of mention that because we don't just rely straight on speech in a lot of these conversations or things you're dealing with, especially like the important conversations if you're trying to like get somebody to help you or try to get past them or things like that. A
Hmm.
lot of times it's based on what did you find in the world, other people you talk to, information that you've picked up. Like that'll come up in those conversations, and you might even have all of the skills, like the really high leadership or the really high speech skills, but without that critical information, you're not even able to really talk about it. So I would say that like for anybody that's maybe having a little bit of trouble kind of getting through it, hey man, you can always take a step back, always just more to explore, check out different places. That'll really kind of help you as you're just going through.
Is it also based on doing a lot of the side quests to build all those perks too,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
the speeches and whatever?
yeah, well, I mean, just in general, the more you play, the more experience you're going to get, and you're going to be able to build your character out more. But again, even things like your weapons, your armors, your science gear, stuff like that. Even gadgets, like in the very beginning in Paradise Island, the very first region, there's areas where they're completely optional that have important things for you, like the double jump or the shield gadget that can help you like block damage and things like that. So exploring is always good because you're always going to get some really just get goodies out of it that you can use for later on. A lot of that stuff
Mhm.
is in some cases even core to a build if you want to make a certain build.
Yeah, well, what is the advice for those that are creating their character for the first time? For them to start. What like advice, like perks or anything like that? Like
I mean, my
for
whole
your
thing.
experience from your.
I mean, my whole thing is you don't even have to take guns to be good at combat, right? Like that seems counterintuitive. You'd be like, yeah, I need to take guns or melee. we've made the game in such a way that no matter how you're building out your character, as long as you lean into those kinds of builds, you can actually be pretty effective in combat situations or in other scenarios, right? Like, again, some of that's counterintuitive, but like, let's say I just want to make a science build, right? And so I lean heavy into science and maybe engineering and stuff like that. Well, engineering is going to help you on your defensive stuff because you can build up defenses, so you can get like damage resist, other things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Science itself, while it's not going to do, straight up damage, it actually augments a lot of the damage types that you're doing. So like shock or plasma, because when you apply those to various enemies, it builds up on them, and then when it hits a certain threshold, it pops and it does like a big status effect.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're doing science, those status effects are stronger and they happen more often. So you can kind of build yourself in a way that you're still highly effective in combat, but then that also means you need to be finding gear that applies those kinds of debuffs and things like that. So the biggest thing is just make sure, like when you pick a lane, you stick to that lane and kind of really find out what works for you.
I noticed also leadership. What is the difference between that one and other ones too? Is
Yeah,
that
so like
more speech or?
yeah, so I mean that it's the same type of same style of skill as something like a speech. Speech is almost always just going to be used inside of conversation work, but leadership, that's actually good for your companions, right? So if you build up on leadership, that actually pumps up your companion health and the companion damage that they're doing, and it also opens up certain perks that are more leadership focused. So things like being able to resurrect your companions at range, or them even being able to like do things where if they go down in combat, you get more health or things like that. So, yeah, everything is good for that.
Yeah, because I thought it was more of like leadership. Like I'm in the town and
Well, you can
talking
do
to
that
guys.
sometimes too. Like sometimes in conversations, if you have leadership, you'll be able to go in there and say something, and people will listen to you because you're a higher leader. Yeah, they kind of
Awesome.
go hand in hand sometimes.
Yeah. What other recommendations too from the other ones too from there that you think people should check out that is new? Was it
Um,
similar?
we have a lot of the similar things. We actually pared down a lot of the skills because we wanted them to be kind of be more impactful. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I personally I just like playing a professor type build sometimes. So I'll just like take like science and medical, and engineering a lot. And like, again, what I really enjoy with something like that is, with something like medical, for example, you can start using your inhaler more often. You'll crash less, like, so you'll be more effective. You'll be able to heal more and also have more effects that you can add to those things. So yeah, I don't know, man. However people want to play it, there's always going to be something good for them.
Is there any negative also using those perks too? That will affect your characters and.
Well, mostly the perks are positive, but like they do change the play style sometimes. But the bigger thing is like flaws. So if you take flaws, those are typically things that can have a negative effect, but also give you a positive effect. So we have like the overprepared thing that I was talking about earlier, but we have like I think 30 or 40 flaws around there that you can take for your character. So again, those things are really good when you want to build out a certain way. As an example, my current playthrough that I'm doing right now, it's like a stealth build, and so I'm kind of
Mm.
sneaking all the time. And so because I'm sneaking all the time on my knees, like crawling over, I got the bad knees flaw. And what that does
I have the
is
same one too.
yeah. So when you stand up, I mean, your knees crack and everybody around you will like turn around and hear you. So you have to be very careful about when you're popping up out of stealth and when you're stealthing. But it gives you big bonuses to your sneak attack damage and your stealth skills and stuff like that. So
But I also upgraded Ninja. Is that could help too?
yeah, Ninja's
Yeah.
cool. I like Ninja because it's actually really good for just being evasive and like damage will miss you. So when you're running around the battlefield quickly,
Hmm.
it's really good for that. Yeah, I like Ninja a lot.
So right now I noticed I try to upgrade speech
Yeah.
and I only could do it up to 2.
Mm.
Is there a reason why I can't go higher than that? Is it because I
It's
have
just
to
your
level
level.
up?
Yeah, it's your
Level up?
level.
Okay.
Once you get your level a little bit higher, it's basically capped towards that. So the higher you're able to level your overall level, the higher you can bring those skills up. Now, if you're specialized in skills, you can actually even go 2 higher than that.
Perfect. Yeah, because I was struggling. I was like, man, am I doing something wrong? And then I noticed I had a lot of side quests, or tasks, and things that I
Yeah,
have
if you
done.
complete those, man, you'll be able to get more and be able to build that up.
Awesome. What is your favorite part you and your team working on this project for you personally?
I mean, this is the first time I've been a game director on a major project. I've done game direction before on DLCs, in particular for Pills of Eternity, Deadfire. I was working on those, but this is kind of the first time I've had a larger project to be able to work on. And so, for me, it's been again, I think, kind of looking back towards old Obsidian games and the style of game we used to do a lot, and
Mhm.
kind of just all right, well, how can we bring that back to the forefront? Modernize it a little bit, but really get back to the sensibilities of, really strong RPG that really focuses on, player agency and player choice and the consequences of those things, and just making sure that all of our content really leans into that. Like that's been the thing that's been a lot of fun for me.
Yeah. Um, you don't have to answer this question right now,
All
but
right, all right.
I remember playing the first Outer Worlds on the original Switch.
Hmm.
Loved it. It was a little slow, but I finished it. Finished it. Are we gonna see anything? Maybe opportunities in the future? Maybe on the Switch too, or could I can see this on.
I mean, we haven't announced anything, but anything is possible, right? I mean, we are going to be
Hopefully,
on handhelds, other handhelds, so I
that's
mean,
true.
there's a pathway there.
That's true. That's true. And why should people should pick up this game?
Again, if they want more of that old school RPG flavor, and they want like a bigger and better version of the Outer Worlds 1, like if you love the Outer Worlds 1, you're gonna love the Outer Worlds 2. We didn't change the formula; we just kind of built on top of that and made everything a lot stronger.
Mhm.
And so that's why I would pick it up. So again, if you love the Outer Worlds 1, I know you're gonna love the Outer Worlds 2.
Awesome. Well, congrats to you guys. Been having a blast. Can't wait to continue the story, and hopefully I could upgrade my speech. All
There you
right.
go.
I love that you guys worked on released 3 projects now this year. All 3 of them very, very different. And I love that it doesn't feel the same. So it's always a different experience playing your game. So I got to give you guys a lot of props on that, man.
Cool,
It's
thanks,
been,
man.
I love Avowed. Grounded is amazing too. And I can't wait to play Outer Worlds too pretty soon.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So congrats.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.